Hey, what's up guys? Zach here with Fire and Ferment. Today, we're gonna be doing Smashburgers. It's May right now, and May is National Burger Month. I need a big upgrade to my Smashburger game, so I brought Dan with me. This is my buddy.
Cousin-in-laws. Buddies and cousin-in-laws, right?
Yeah, for sure. Cousin-in-laws and buddies. I consider Dan the king of Smashburgers, so he's gonna take me through the whole process from start to finish, and we're gonna make some awesome smashies and go from there.
I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yeah, so Smashburgers are super popular. You go on YouTube, you find all kinds of recipes for Smashburgers. Dan's been doing Smashburgers before the whole craze even started. I remember maybe 2015, 2016, Dan was already doing the whole Smashburger thing. So tell me about your Smashburger journey.
So starting out, just like anybody else, wanting to grill a good burger, wanting to be the guy, you know, in the neighborhood, in the family, grilling a good burger. The way I grew up, my grandpa always grilled burgers and his were the best. No one else made a better burger than my grandpa, right? And so I wanted to do that same thing. Started looking for a different way to do it. I don't remember where I first saw it, probably on Instagram. There was an account. Back then he was doing Smashburgers and I thought, man, that looks like something I want to do. When I get involved with something, it's a personality thing, I guess. It's good, it's bad, I don't know, but I go all in. I jump in, I dive in, I want to be the best at what I'm doing. At a camping trip, I camp for 20 people at a time. It's a staple within our campsite. And yeah, that's how I started. It has evolved. You learn things. There's stuff I do now that I didn't do then, and you just get better and you get to eat delicious food.
That's what it's all about.
It's great.
It's a journey where you know, you make little tweaks here and there, and if something doesn't quite work, you make a change for the next time. And that's how good recipes get developed and how they get passed along to people like you guys. So Dan, what goes into a good Smashburger?
I like to keep it semi-simple. The first thing I started doing that really elevated the Smashburger game was adding beef tallow. Taking that tallow, smash it, you're already getting that crust, you're already getting that crispiness, and that's good, but using the tallow gives it that beefy flavor, gives it that extra little punch. That's when my game started really elevating. That's what I think started separating the burgers from everybody else.
Let's talk about our brand of beef here. So this is something special that you've introduced me to. Tell me about this brand here.
So this is Schweid & Sons. They have different blends. They've got premium cut, different blends, and you can taste the difference. Salt, pepper, regular patty, salt, pepper, this stuff, and you can taste the difference. It's a higher quality product made from premium cuts of beef. It's not very expensive. You just can't go wrong. It's delicious.
And then just salt and pepper is what you found. You don't add garlic powder or
no, sir.
Crazy to the blend.
Salt, pepper, tallow.
Yeah, let's take a look at what you got here for your setup.
So when it comes to efficiency, I'm a nerd for efficiency. I find something, I want to streamline it, I want to make it efficient. So I got to thinking, instead of using the single smasher, what could I do? And I came up with these concrete trowels. That's what it is, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, concrete trowels. I went on Amazon and I bought the absolute cheapest smashing burger smash kit that you could find. I took the flat surfaces, I drilled holes and pop riveted. That's all it is. And so now what I can do is I can smash 4 burgers at a time.
I know how tricky it can be when you're using something like this, when you're just going burger to burger to burger. By the time you get to the very end, that first one's already cooked.
Absolutely.
So it's inefficient. It doesn't really work very well, especially when you want to get each burger just right.
Yep.
Now, what is this?
This is just a sheetrock mud putty tool. I own all the major brands that everybody knows out there. They make their own scraping utensils. Everybody does it. Everybody buys them because it has the same brand name as your griddle. This thing right here is better than all of those combined. It's flexible. It's sharp. You can really get underneath your burger, so when you have that crust, you're not leaving anything behind. You're not coming at an angle, because I found the major brands, they're a solid surface to where they don't bend, so you're at an angle. This one, you can flex it and you're underneath. It's nice and wide. It's the same width as the burger. Flip it. You're ready to go.
So right here, we've got this South Chicago Packing Wagyu beef tallow. We're actually gonna do a comparison. We're gonna use some of this for half of our burgers. And then the other half, I've got this smoked tallow. This is from my beef cheek video. So hopefully this is gonna give it an extra little element of flavor. I can just smell this coming off.
Absolutely,
here.
I can smell it from here.
It smells like a perfectly cooked brisket is what it smells like. All right, so let's talk about the toppings. Again, simplicity is really important with the toppings. You don't do anything crazy.
My basic burger is the lettuce, the mustard, onion, the cheese. I think that combination with the beefiness, tallow, and the smash, that's where it's at. It's burgers. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Everybody had burgers when they were growing up. Grandpa made them, your dad made them, your uncle made them, whoever, and they weren't fancy. I know you did the fancy hipster burger. It's a good video, and that's a good burger. When you're out on the back patio though, when you're out camping, there's nothing better than just a good old-fashioned burger. Yes. We normally use brioche buns, is what I prefer, and then we butter, lightly toast. You have the time to do it. If you have 20 hungry people standing in front of you, maybe you don't.
So we'll just ball these up like so, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And we're gonna do this again. I like to do it twice because if you do it just once, you still have a bunch of ridges in there.
Cool. All right, so these ones right here, smoked.
Excellent.
These ones are Wagyu.
Perfect. So quantity-wise, guys, like we're talking, I don't do a whole lot of measuring. So just about, what are we calling that, Zach? A half tablespoon?
Yeah, or maybe even a teaspoon. I call that a teaspoon.
Teaspoon?
Yep.
Not a whole lot. So here's the deal. If you do too much, you get a lot of flying grease. You get a lot of shrapnel. And that's why I always wear an apron. I always kind of put different clothes on whenever I do the smash burgers because you get a lot of shrapnel. And if you add too much tallow, it becomes a little bit of a mess. Let's go.
So then our Wagyu, so just kind of the same amount, about like that?
Maybe just a smidge more, but that's still gonna be good. Yeah, I usually have my gloves on still, and okay. I'm usually digging in. So just grab it, and then you can since it's got that consistency.
Yeah, that one's a little stout.
That one's a little stout too.
About like that.
Because it's still gonna be, like little really does go a long way.
Okay, that look okay?
Yep.
Alrighty.
I like to put them together. By now, I have a first layer in the Tupperware because I like to do a lot of prep stuff beforehand so that when I get to smashing, it's just ready to go. So I'll line them up, dust them, say this is in a Tupperware. You'll do your first one, then you'll take your parchment paper, put it over the top. Next layer of your balls, ready to go, and then you salt and pepper over those.
If you guys were only here to smell this kitchen.
The things you don't get on the YouTube when you're watching. So what I'm looking for whenever I know this thing's got enough tallow on it is it's just kind of tacky. You can kind of hear it popping on my hand a little bit. It's not soaking wet, but it's not dry. It's just got a nice tack to it to where it still holds together. Mm-hmm. Right? You can feel it.
Yeah, you don't want it to fall apart.
No.
I've had a lot of burgers that just fell apart.
Yeah, and we might have gotten just a smidge heavy on this tallow on a couple of them, but that's fine. I just moved it off to the side. It's not gonna hurt it.
I'm not trying to get greased with any tallow rockets today. So.
Yeah, I call it shrapnel. You get quite a bit of stuff coming back at you. And this just comes from doing it a lot. Like I said, you do it more, you just get to eat good food a lot.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's gonna pick up the salt, the pepper. It's all in there. You can see it when you look close. You can see the little speckles of the pepper in there. When you're waiting in line at your favorite restaurant, your favorite barbecue place, and you're getting hungry, and then you smell everything that you smell in a barbecue joint before you get your food, that almost drives you to the point of insanity because you can smell it, you know what's gonna happen, you know what's coming. That's what's going on right now,
That's
guys.
what we're doing now, yep.
So I'm just there's some salt and pepper that we kind of spilled. We're just gonna roll that around a little bit, why not?
All right, Dan, so we're out here at the Griddle. Tell me a little bit about this griddle that we're working with here.
So I use Camp Chef. With my background with the cooking being with camping, I like the Camp Chef because it's very portable, very easy to get around. You can use it for all sorts of things. I've got the 17-inch griddle here. You can buy smaller ones, you can buy grill boxes. I can be doing breakfast on one side, I can be percolating coffee on the other. I can be making gravy here while doing my proteins here. I just like the versatility of it. The way it folds up when I'm at home, it's not taking up patio space, it's not taking up garage space. It literally folds up, fits on my shelf, it's out of the way. I can transport it for doing stuff like this. I mean, I live 30 miles away and it just is easy to bring. So that's why I prefer Camp Chef setup.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna basically create stations here with our supplies and all of our ingredients so that it's just boom, 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 quick and easy. Let's grab our supplies and go. All All right, guys, so we got our buns over here. We've got our burger sauce that we're gonna be using here. Dan, tell me about this burger sauce.
So, found a recipe, built upon it. Very easy, very simple to make. Equal parts sour cream and real mayo, smoked paprika, and pickle juice. So what I do is I just grab a bowl. I don't measure anything. Half and half of sour cream and the mayo, just make it look right. Smoked paprika, I dust it and stir it until I start to take that mixture and it turns pink. And then the pickle juice, I buy the sandwich slices and I cube them up, 1/8" cubes, whatever they are. Add the pickles, spritz in the juice, stir it up, taste test with the pinky. One thing I will say is you have to make this the day before. You need time for that smoked paprika to really work its way in, really soften up. If you come back the next morning and if it still tastes heavy on the smoked paprika, a little bit more pickles, a little bit more mayo and sour cream, and you'll start to not necessarily hide the smoked paprika, you just don't want it to stand out. If you use too much, it can stand out, and you just want everything to blend, everything to have that good flavor profile.
Now let's talk about our handy dandy tools here that Dan has made.
What I do now is I take aluminum foil, I'll wrap it around, bring it to the edge so that when I smash, it's the aluminum foil. Pull up, and that way I can continue smashing. I prefer the aluminum foil.
I mean, it's genius, right? Because then you don't have to worry about peeling that parchment paper off. I've been doing that.
I'd always burn your finger. Every time you get in there and you burn your finger.
Well, and then you have this trash that you need something to do with. What do? You throw it on the ground and it's nasty. So we've got our burgers here. Just again, we've separated the two. These ones are our Wagyu tallow burgers and this is the smoked tallow. Dan, what's this right here? What are we dealing with?
So earlier I mentioned how my grandpa made the best cheeseburgers of anyone that we ever met anyway growing up. What he would do is he would make the burgers. When they were about done, he'd put the cheese on top. The cheese would start to soften. He would put the buns and the burger together and then he'd take those burgers and he'd put them back into the bag. And he'd tie it up and he'd sit them for 5 minutes. He couldn't touch them. And what he did, he always explained, because that would take the cheese and that would melt down into the cheeseburger, and it was always his thing. It was his pride and joy. So I wanted to find a way to duplicate that. It's how I grew up. It's how my family grew up. You know, something special to us. So what I do is when my burgers are flipped and they're about done, I'll take this and I'll use it as a basting cover, right? Throw it on top. I can sit there and every once in a while I'll look and see if they're done. All that cheese melts down into that patty. Scoop them up, go over here. The basting domes that you can buy with major brands with their names stamped in them. I looked this morning, one this size was $54.99. I think I spent $7 on the two. They're disposable. That's why I use it.
How hot are we getting this griddle? Are we trying to just blast these burgers so that it's nothing but crisp? What are we looking at?
The heat on this is wherever the M on the medium on my dial, I put it on the M, and that's how hot it is. If I'm on the D of medium, I can do bacon, I can do sausage. If I'm on the M, that's where I cook burgers, and so that's the temperature.
You drive 2 miles that direction, you turn right at the old church, and if you hit the old cemetery, you've gone too far, take a left at the old dirt road, and it's the old farmhouse on the left.
And you have a Smashburger at the end. But smokers, talk about barbecue, there's hot spots, cool spots, spots where you know you're doing your ribs, spots where you know you're doing your brisket. Just like these griddles, if you have the name brand one at home, do your test kitchens, know where your zones are, know what temperature you can cook different stuff at. It's gonna be different if you're on the back deck in the wind, or if you're in the garage out of the wind. It's gonna be different if it's a shady day, warm day, all those things are different. The more you do it, the more you practice, the more you test kitchen, the more delicious food you get, and the better you get at making the burgers.
Yeah, I mean, point being, get to know your equipment. That's what it boils down to. The more you cook on it, the more you get to know it, the better you're gonna be, the better your food is. So that's what it's all about, folks. All right, listen up. If you want perfectly crispy edges in a Smashburger that achieves peak Maillard reaction, you need to know your surface temp. And that's where this bad boy comes in. The ThermoPro TP450 dual laser infrared thermometer. I used to just guess if my griddle was hot enough. Big mistake. But with this, I just aim, click, and boom, instant surface temp readout. No more guessing, no more underwhelming crusts. The dual laser helps you pinpoint exactly where you're measuring, so you're not getting misleading temp readings from steam or uneven spots. And because it's infrared, I don't have to touch the griddle. That means no burns, just science. And get this, it even has max temperature tracking, so you can keep an eye on those heat fluctuations. Trust me, if you're serious about leveling up your burger game, this thermometer is a must-have. Links in the description below, and type in code FIREFERMENT20 to get 20% off of your order of $30 or more with ThermoPro products. Now, let's get these beauties on the burner.
And so now I'm gonna start doing the burgers. What I do, I'll smash. I'm gonna do 4 at a time. You don't have to do that many. You're probably gonna have a single smasher until we go to market with these anyway. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count to about 10. In my head, I'm just counting to 10. I'll take my wrists and I'll just rock my wrists back and forth so that I'm applying even pressure to the burger patties. Let's get going. On this side, I'm gonna do the Wagyu first. Here we go. I can smell the tallow already. There you go. Beautiful. We're making burgers, guys. This side we're gonna have the smoked. It's all about timing. I can already smell that smoked tallow. So now the big question that gets asked, when do we flip? When do we flip this thing? What I do, so this one, you start seeing some of the grease that's starting to come up. The grease is bubbling, that's getting close. This burger is hotter than that burger. So we're gonna let them sit. It also depends on how thick you make your patties. If you use a 1/3 pound ball instead of the 1/4 pound, they're gonna be thicker, you're gonna have to take more time.
So ultimately, it's all about getting that crust, right?
Absolutely.
In crust, we trust.
100%. So we're looking now, I'm really starting to get that grease pooling up, which is what I want. So now I'm gonna flip. Now you look, see I get that bend right there? Your store brands don't have that. I'm gonna get underneath it. Look at that. So I'm not gonna go the full 10 seconds. What I'm doing now is just getting the crust. We're already cooking through, so I'm not worried about that. Leaving that behind. Coming in for my other ones. It's all about the timing. Make sure you wear your apron. Don't wear your nice church clothes. Should have the crust on there. So we're gonna go garden. We're gonna go onion right here. Normally I separate my cheese out, make it just a little bit quicker. Put the dome on. We're just gonna check it every once in a while. Starting to melt down on this side. It's gonna be delicious. So when you look, this one's a little slow, but you see how it's just real, it's grabbing the onions. All that crust, don't worry about them being dry, guys. The juice on the inside is being held in by that crust, I promise. We'll call it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pop them on each right there. It's that easy. And from now you're gonna do your pickles. If you want different sauce, if you want the special sauce, look at these. Perfectly melted in, so gooey.
Smoked Wagyu.
Let's cut into these things, let's try them.
Okay. All right, man, so all we do is just put the top bun on the top and dig in.
Whatever sauces you want. I'm gonna hold off. I really wanna try this smoked tallow. Really wanna try it. I'm just gonna get in on that. I think this was the smoked side, correct?
That's the smoked side. I'm gonna grab a regular.
Over. Cheers. Cheers, man. It's fun. That's really good.
You know, the way it's really good. The crust is just super dark. It's got a little crispness to it, but the inside is still nice and beefy and juicy. It's really good, man.
This is my, I guess, flavor profile. We'll call it the difference between the onions and the mustard. But then the beefiness, just, it's my jam. I'm probably gonna do this just so I can have the pickle flavor, because I'm a pickle guy too. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
That's so good.
And it's so simple. Whenever I make these when we camp, I have to bring this up.
You guys got to give this sauce a try too, by the way.
I should make more for the family.
Yeah, guys, so we finished up these burgers and we fed them to our families. The wives loved them, the boys loved them. They were a big hit. I want to thank Dan for coming on today and showing us some secrets with Smashburgers. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm going to be implementing these tips and tricks into my Smashburger game. I want to invite you guys, if you liked what you saw today, be sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me what you think in the comments. And be sure to keep an eye out for the next video. I can't wait to see you guys there.